crowd today, having a great time, giving lots of noise and encouragement to the players. I'm sure that's much appreciated in their victories and in their defeats even, right? But I want to jump immediately into Champ Select because I know, Zyrene, you had some qualms with how it played out.
Yeah. So they banned away the Annie on Dignitas' side. They banned away their most aggressive player on the team, and that's what you see there is a very passive game when that happens for them. And things just kind of collapsed around them. They couldn't force the issue. And that being said, they go for the J4 first, who isn't really the biggest part of the Narvin combo. Like, if you are going to prioritize that combo, usually you'd go for the Nar first, but they wanted Crumbs on a jungler that he can make pressure on, and he didn't do that. All of that being said, they were not outdrafted here. That is a composition that in the late game, if you are even with another team, you will end up winning the team fights because you have a Fed or like at least a very tanky Gnar Jarvan, and then you have the Azir and the Kog'Maw. Consistent kind of mixed damage there, physical and magic, against a full AD team on the side of Winterfox. So Winterfox played their composition well, and they just kept up with the pressure early, and they got an early game lead and snowballed it off the split push. So they were not outcomped at all in that. So the champion selects went really well for both teams. It was the way that they played them.
So there was this air of passivity on the side of Dignitas, and we had the lane swap come through. And I just want to touch on the strategies of the teams and the way that they played the lane swap, because they approached it differently.
Yeah, I mean, the 2 times Winterfox has won a game, it's been when they pile on mid lane early on in the game, and Pobelter's on an assassin. That is clearly the strategy that they should be doing when they don't have their full team. Pobelter mentioned in the interview, Paragon their coach, and Imagine their support, and really their entire communication structure is not in place yet. So the fact that this team is 2-2 is quite an accomplishment, honestly, with the way they've been in shambles. But I think some of the real story here is how hopeless Dignitas has been looking.
Yes, absolutely. So in talking about it through the scope of the game first, right? Sure. We saw them on the flip side of the lane swap attempt to, get the side lanes rolling, and Crumbs struggled to capitalize on any of the opportunities that were given to him.
Yeah, he really focused the side lanes, which is, sometimes usually standard for their jungler when you're in a lane swap. You're like, all right, do I go to the 1 and make it a 2 so we can hold it, or do I go and force the 3 and then we have the top laner come down 2 and make it 4? There's a whole bunch of different scenarios that he ran through. And the one that Helios picked was get Pobelter fed, and Crumbs was not there to make something happen as a counter. He wasn't on his counter ganking style today. He was trying to make pressure, and then he was completely punished for it. He went bottom, didn't get a Cataclysm off, then went middle, and then he used his Cataclysm, didn't even get a flash for it out of Pobelter because it was already that snowball started.
We have a replay, 22 minutes in. It's kind of the attempt from Dignitas to regroup and say, okay, this is what our composition is supposed to do. Let's effort that now. It's perhaps a little bit too late. We're going to pull it up on your screen right now. We're going to walk through it just because the decision-making here seemed to be, they're just a step behind.
They are not on the same page at all. If you look at where Kog'Maw is, you would hope that he's on the other team because he's way too far back right now. Way too far forward right now for where he needs to be. Just roll the clip because this is literally just a clip of poor JJ getting caught. They do not have vision in the flanks. So why is he harassing a support on the enemy team? He immediately gets flanked. The fight is over as soon as Zed is able to cast ultimate on him from a free run. At that point, the Western Winterfox just piles in, and Dignitas, they have no response to that giant team mistake.
Yeah, core JJ's positioning this game was extremely poor. And even right there, just the ward coverage was all on the right side, and they weren't even playing to that side. They were playing towards the middle forward of the lane. They got TP'd on in the back of their lane, so they were getting flanked by Avalon when there was a pink ward on the left side of them, and they had 2 members, Helios and Pobelter, come from there. So they were getting pincered in there, and Zed was pretty much the first one in onto the biggest priority target on that team as the Kog'Maw.
Yep. So now let's expand. Let's take it back a step and kind of get that macro view of things. Dignitas, their only victory has come through, kind of a misstep by Coast. Not even so much, they didn't take it themselves.
Yeah, Dignitas hasn't really had a gold lead this entire year. If we're talking about significant advantages, to their credit, well, not to their credit, in their defense. They lost a ton in the offseason. Skara, gone. Zion Spartan, gone. I'm a Cutie Pie, gone. They still don't say they have the coach that they want here. They're still hiring for that position, and it shows. And, Crumbs in particular, he's been getting picked on a lot because his performance has been atrocious in a lot of these games. Just because somebody is playing bad doesn't make them a bad player. Like in the summer split of last year, I thought Crumbs was the best jungler in North America.
Yeah, that's a very important distinction to make.
Right? But right now, not even close. He's not playing anything close to that. And it's because everybody on that team, Crumbs included, is waiting for something else to go right. No one is taking initiative to make their own opportunity. They're just kind of sitting around hoping, I hope I don't die the most this game, is what it feels like. I don't know that's what they're saying. It's just what it feels like to me watching.
Part of it, too, it feels like an identity crisis in a sense, right? You have Kiwi Kid, who we discussed on the desk as kind of the only aggressive player on that team. They took him off of his aggressive champion, so he's struggling there in terms of finding his identity as a player now within this team. But then as a whole, the organization, Dignitas, what is their play style? How are they going to win these games? And it's not evident to me in their games what it is.
They've got Shifter in the mid lane. You know, hope something goes right. Like, that's what you were saying.
Well, that's
the entire
never been
time.
part of Shifter's strategy. And honestly, like, Dignitas needs to recognize that in a sense. In his play, he's not someone who makes solo plays. Shifter's style can work, and we've seen it work in the earlier split from Dignitas in the summer of 2014, and we've seen it even in certain games on Coast. He's great at sitting at the back of fights and picking people off, but that requires incredibly aggressive support, top lane, and jungle play for that to happen. And it's just not happening.
Yeah, you have to have somebody else force the issue. And everybody is playing really passive on that team right now. The bottom lane, I don't know if they're not synergizing well at all. Crumbs is trying to like desperately make things happen, but then when he actually gets the opening, he doesn't fully commit to it. And sometimes he's using like flash way too early. He's not using Cataclysm on the right targets. It's really easy to pick on him. But the thing is he is in a situation where he has to force things, but if he forces it, is everybody going to be there to back him up yet? I don't know if they have that trust yet completely.
Yeah. To wrap it up from my end, like, I don't want to say it's hopeless for Dignitas.
Oh, absolutely not.
They've lost a lot, and things aren't going well. But it's 4 games and an 18-game split. We'll see if they can turn it around.
Right. On the other side of the rift, though, Winterfox, just to kind of wrap up on them as well, because we focused a lot on Winterfox. As you said, we've already given them credit for going 2-2 with an uncompleted roster and a lack of coach. This bodes well for a young team that, is definitely looking, Pobelter hinted at, they're looking to shoot for that title in the summer split.
Yeah, I think that this team can definitely come together. They've showed that they can kind of play off of each other, and the fact that they're speaking, 2 languages on that team at the moment is actually working out fine for them against this Dignitas squad. They're able to capitalize on things, force the issue, play their style. They are a team that has a pretty distinct style. Altec's going to farm. He's going to be their backup carry if Pobelter doesn't get online from ganks from Helios, right? It's pretty formulaic. And right now, Avalon, he seemed much more comfortable on a top lane tank that can get into a fight and not have to worry about getting bullied and just completely shut down. So I think that'll function really well for them if they keep playing to that strength.
All right, well, there is more league action coming up, continuing with TSM versus Team Liquid in our 3rd match of the day. So don't go anywhere.
It's Team Dignitas versus Winterfox.
Let's go.
Here comes Avalon from the back. Sivir ulti popped as well. He's going to lock up Core JJ. There's a tornado as well. First kill picked up for Pobelter. Core JJ at the front line. Ulti's popped. Core JJ. He's going to be a really low health Kog'Maw. Pop. Down he goes.
I kill Nami. Okay, you kill Nami. Okay, I kill Nami. Okay, I'm watching Kog'Maw. Kog'Maw. Okay, go Kog'Maw. Okay. Nice.
That is GG. Winterfox putting themselves 2-2